Test. So, I haven't been on here, it feels like, in a while. But I've been doing a lot of things. Honestly, I'll be honest, it's been really tough lately because, you know, with your job, sometimes hours are slow, business is slow, and food is scarce. Things are expensive, and you know, me being who I am, trying to hurdle over hurdles and trying to get somewhere. I'm always doing the things they talk about online, like maxing, being consistent in the gym. I only say consistent with quotation marks because, well, in the gym, because I don't have the money to pay for a gym, so all the exercises and stuff I do is either at home or outside, and it's been like below zero some days, so it's been pretty rough. Enough of that crap. So really, enough of that. What I wanted to really talk about was a couple of things. The previous video, I talked about the BS of the uncanny valley thing, and I also talked about a little bit about the shady pedowood agenda in Hollywood, and, you know, I'm trying to make this video a little more clear. Some agendas that have been going on lately in media and in politics and in general, trying to turn basically a healthy, strong society into something that is weakened and into something that is faulty, and trying to deem healthy, strong, masculine traits and practices, and things like that, and beliefs, trying to claim that they are toxic all of a sudden. You know, this whole thing is that whole thing's BS, and like most things are BS. And one of the main reasons why a lot of things are so BS when it comes to us as human beings is because you gotta understand, people that have a lot of power and money like to control people from a head down. So not only is it that they want to control you, but they also want to train and program you. What I mean by that is they want to try to nail into your head concepts, dogmas, and beliefs and opinions to the point to where masses of people actually are foolish enough and have been brainwashed enough to really believe these things, so that you actually think it's strange when someone like myself may come along and tell you, no, that's actually not how that goes, and no, what you think you believe or you think you know is actually absolutely false, and you don't believe what's true. You know, like, you may not even believe it if you see it. So, you know, there's a lot of channels on this YouTube that talk about, like, cryptids and stuff like that, and my channel is one that does do that, but it's not as popular as most channels are. And, you know, the content, I'll admit, on my channel sometimes can jump around, but you have to understand, I have to keep making content just for the sake of making it, and it's very hard. But just for the time being, all I'm gonna have on this video is, like, you know, some videos do this rant thing and they have the gameplay in the background. So, you know, Mugen is the game that I play sometimes. So I'll be playing that. Well, it'll be footage of me playing that in the background. Mostly me trying to beat Thanos to no avail. You know, I mean, there's some crazy moments there where I came close. I think with, like, War Machine, if I'm not mistaken. But the thing is this, is, you know, there's always this stupid thing to where people, and I'm going to talk about a couple cryptid videos. One, I'm going to talk about the encounter where the humans encountered, because the thing is this, some people say it's a hoax, but I don't know about this video. This, to me, this, I'll explain it. I'll say this whole 8th video where the people are on the boat or whatever, and they come across these ape-looking monkey things, and the things are like playing music, and it looks like they may be doing like a ceremony or a ritual or something, and one of the guys in the kayak or whatever you call it thing, he's looking like, what? You know, like, what the hell is this? You know, and I'm going to explain some things in that video that, where, okay, I would say maybe it could be a hoax, and I'm going to explain the things that make me lead to believe it's probably actually not a hoax, and it's probably kind of a world-shattering thing that actually happened. But most people are just going to look at it as a hoax. Most people are going to just call it a hoax, and then most people are going to believe, because there was a supposed group of supposed musicians dressed in costume that claim that they did that as a gig, or were practicing for a gig or something, which I believe is actually 100% horseback, if you ask me. And I'll explain that. I'll explain why briefly. So I also saw a video where a woman was talking about dog mode, and she was saying like, oh, at night, you know, they come out and, you know, there's this embankment or whatever, and there's this river or whatever, stream, and they prop themselves up against this wall, and I'm scared to go to sleep, I barely sleep at night, and all this jazz, and I'm thinking like, you know, I don't like disrespecting people. Sometimes it frustrates me, because I'm thinking like, first off, when did we as a human race or culture, and I'm talking about globally, when did we become such big sissies? You know, like, that's one thing I have to really kind of grasp my head around, that I find hard to understand. You know, I find it very hard to understand that. Like, when did we become so sissy? Like, it's like, first off, when is this whole idea of that you were just so afraid that you saw something unknown? And you gotta understand, like, if something like that is, quote, with quotation marks, you know, dangerous, then why are you still here? You know what I mean? Like, why are you still alive? You know what I mean? What are you doing here? You know, like, how come it hasn't broken into your house? How come you haven't gone missing? Is it because you think you're so clever, or is it because you think you're so cautious, or you think that, like, explain that to me? You know what I mean? So, the thing of this is, like, I feel like generally people have lost their ability to critically really think. They've lost their ability to see what an actual threat is, and they've lost the ability to really understand how to read intent and really get a grasp on really rationally thinking about what even intent is in a person, an animal, or anything, you know, like, and understand how to, like, to some degree, sense certain types of intent. You know what I mean? It's a lost ability on, I feel like, most modern people. You know, and I'm only saying modern because I'm trying to maybe give some of, like, our ancestors maybe more of a benefit of the doubt. That they were just a little bit more, if anything, like, I don't want to say evolved, but in a way, like, just evolved in a different way. Like, now we seem like we're de-evolved. Like, it's like, how do you not, like, how are you so numb to anything except, like, you getting up in the morning, you going, drinking your coffee, you getting your lazy butt out of bed, driving your butt to work, and then coming back home? Like, what are you so, why are you so blind to, like, everything? You know, and then the only thing that seems to really drive you or to get your attention is just fear and fear mongering. So there's a huge issue with that. There's a big issue with that. So, and that's part of, like, what I talk about on this channel. And I'd actually went to this lady's channel and I wrote in the comments that, you know, I'm trying to create something on this channel, and I'm also really trying to create or cultivate more of a culture on this channel, okay? This channel is to cultivate a warrior culture. This channel is to cultivate a culture of where, yes, you can train for this or that. Yes, you can train to defend yourself. Yes, you can do all that stuff. And in this channel, in the near future, if things work out right, there will be footage of me doing just that. There will be videos of me showing how, like, there's certain self-defense drills that I do, how and why. You know, there's certain things that is advice that I would give and videotape certain things. But as far as this whole, but I know, like, in all honesty, that's more or less like self-defense is in, like I said before, on other way, against people, against like criminals, you know, against people who are shady or dangerous, that have like some ill will, you know what I mean, like a real intruder, you know, like that would actually probably really happen. Like a person is more apt to try to break into your home than some cryptid is, you know, or some dog man or something is. A person is, another human being is more apt to do, you know, if anything. But what I'm trying to explain is mostly the fact of, you know, you do yourself a disservice when the first thing you jump to is just straight up fear, raw fear. You know, you have to understand, like I said, logic. If there's something so big that it can supposedly, this is withstanding that this lady's telling the truth. If something can supposedly stand in a prop itself against like a 10-foot wall, and it's that massive, and these things are just that massive, that they're, you know, propped up against 10-foot walls, taking up space, like it looks like they're maybe as tall as that wall, or whatever. If they're even that big, it's like, you have to realize that that's a seriously powerful thing, and if it really wanted to do anything to you, it probably would have happened already. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, yeah, that's usually I think what the case is. Now, you also have to realize, like, these things are not stupid. So, like, for instance, you may think, okay, I've seen them, but they probably didn't see me. No, they probably have seen you before you saw them. They probably are not doing anything because you're not doing it. You know, you're not trying to run across a stream and interrupt what they're doing. You're not trying to, what's the word, encroach upon their territory, or you're not trying to cross a line to where maybe they even think like you're a threat. No, your behavior is the same as mostly everyone else. You know, you keep your distance. If you see one, you don't probably even react. You act like you're not seeing it, then you go on YouTube and you rant about it. You know, like anyone else. You know, you're not doing, and it's not gonna. You're not leaving like gifts for these things. You're not trying to gift them. You're not trying to communicate with them really actively. So they may just be like some people are. You know, like myself. Like they're not gonna, especially if they don't want to be bothered with you at all. They're not gonna. They're gonna actually pretend like you're not even there. They're probably not gonna really acknowledge you. They're not even gonna, you know, waste their time. But my whole thing is this: with all that being said, you gotta understand that there's other ways to do things. Like, you don't have to live in fear of the unknown. Like, you don't have to. Like, some people think that you think you're protecting yourself. That's the thing. You think that you're always protecting yourself against danger, but it's really an illusion. The illusion is that you actually could even protect yourself if you were just caught. It doesn't matter if you want to put your cayenne pepper or whatever, your whatever crap you want to put in your windows to deter them because of scent, and you want to do all this stuff. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, because if those things really wanted to do anything to you, they're going to spy on you, they're going to stalk you, and then they're going to wait until you're a certain distance and you're in a certain opportune area, and then they're going to grab you. Then it's going to be over, and it's going to happen so fast that, you know, maybe you could get some muffled screams out or something to call for help, but it's not. It's over. If they really wanted to take you somewhere, you know what I mean? So you have to realize that much. Like, so you have to realize that it's more of it's a different type of flow. Like, it's a different thing going on, I think, with this whole dog man cryptid thing than people ever really would imagine. Now, I'm not saying that they're all friendly, they're just harmless. I'm not ever saying that. But what I'm saying is I feel like there's so much fear-mongering going on with this whole thing. Just like with the disclosure ET thing. There's so much fear-mongering going on with all this. To the point to where 98% of things people are talking about is it's not saying it's hot air, but it's like wasted air. It's wasted air. It's really like, okay, so you mean, and I'm gonna get off the dog man. I'm gonna start talking about the apes. It's like I'm saying, really. So you mean to tell me you witnessed something world-shattering? You witnessed something out of this world, literally. You witnessed something insane, and then you mean to tell me that you're going to just say, oh well, I can't sleep because I'm scared. I'm gonna put cayenne pepper and red ghost pepper powder on my friggin' window so they don't come around, and I'm also going to try to get footage of them, but fail at that too. And then I'm also going to, and I really don't mean to be just talking crap about this woman either. Don't take it like that. I'm really not just talking about her like that in that way. I'm just saying it to just try to make a point, because I don't want to bash. I understand. I get people are who they are. So it's like disingenuous for me to totally just destroy someone, like just rip them apart. I'm not doing that. But what I'm saying is, did you ever maybe think like maybe that you could pull back on the fear button a little bit and maybe think like, maybe they're not actually so dangerous? You know what I mean? Like maybe their intent isn't really that. You know, like maybe they're probably just living there for whatever reason or whatever. You know, you just never know. That's my whole thing. Is like is to take that route, and like I said, that's one of the reasons why this channel, the culture of this channel is to cultivate a warrior culture. And by that, what I mean is, see, you have to understand something about when you're a warrior, right? You have to understand that there's a couple things you need to understand. You need to understand that, one, it's not that you are always afraid of something. It's that you know it's a threat, okay? Or it could potentially be dangerous, right? But then you have to be able to differentiate. Is it actually? Does it have intent of harming somebody? Or is it simply just a dangerous thing like a dog? A dog can potentially fatal to a person, but do dogs always, you know what I mean? Like, or a wolf or something. Do they always kill people? No, they don't always. So it's like, you have to think of it like that. Like, it's like, is it just like a gun? A gun is dangerous, right? But guns kill people. You know what I mean? I mean, people with guns kill people. Not always. Like, a gun doesn't just like levitate and just shoot someone. It's like, you gotta understand. Yes, a gun is lethal. Does a gun always kill someone? No. So you gotta look at it like that. I know it sounds like a stupid analogy, but you have to really understand what I'm trying to say. And the difference between someone like myself, who is a martial artist, someone who believes in self-defense, someone who is of a warrior culture, understands that concept. Like, you have to understand that. That's something that you have to understand that. Because if you don't understand that, then you're actually a danger to yourself, and actually a danger to people around you, and a danger to many things in actuality. Do you get what I mean by that? Because you're not rational. That's my point. It's like, if you can't ever hit a calm button on yourself, then you're not being rational. Then you're unstable. And you can't be unstable. That's my whole point. It's like, you can't be unstable, unpredictable, can't control your emotions, can't control your body, can't control what you're doing. It's like, think of it like a person trying to make a shot with like the shakiest hand in the world, and they're afraid of the blowback, they're afraid of the sound of the gun, they're afraid of everything, they're afraid of the recoil. They're just afraid of everything. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, well, at that point, then you just have to stop and start over from square one. That's how things like that are. It's like, okay, if you can't if you can't get calm enough to do this thing, then you have to calm yourself down. I always say it's like you have to come from a place of calm first. It doesn't matter if you're even doing something that is dangerous or violent, or if you're training, or you're sparring, or you're doing whatever. You still have to learn how to be calm. You know what I mean? Like you can be, like, for instance, you can be explosive and powerful and calm at the same time. You have to learn that. Okay, that's part of martial arts too. That's part of it. You're not just going ham necessarily, going just off of your instincts, going just straight off of your adrenaline and your fear. You'll probably tire yourself out too quick anyway if that's the way you're operating. You just, trying to think you're going to go to just 100% when maybe you don't even need to go 100% on anything to get done what you're trying to get done. It's like that. It's like, what are you doing? So that's my point in this channel. Like, I'm trying to teach you people, like, you have to think a certain way. You have to start living a certain way, you have to think a certain way, and you have to put things in practice a certain way. You can't just be out here with this whole sissy boy, sissy girl, scaredy cat BS that, like I said, the what do you call it? The politics, media, society wants to try to push down people's throats that you're supposed to be this, like, sissy boy or sissy girl, and you gotta be, quote, gay or queer or whatever, or if not that, you have to be this submissive pansy. It's like, it does not work like that. It never worked like that. Like, what are you doing? And when it comes to these cryptid things, I mean, there's really, like, almost zero. There's like zero. I'm just gonna say there's zero room for that. Like, even if they're friendly, benevolent creatures or whatever, who have good intent and they just want to communicate with you or whatever, or whatever it is, or they're trying to, like, teach you something, you do realize that's the very moment where you better not be, like, scared, frantic, antsy, because then what you're doing is you're pushing away something that's trying to, like, teach you something, because you're the problem, because you're creating a barrier. You can't be doing that. You cannot be doing that. It's just like some of you people out here who are spiritual too, and the thing is, you understand that, like, okay, if you're trying to communicate with this entity or whatever, you have to, like, you can't fear this thing. You know what I mean? Like, there can be a tiny bit of fear there, but your whole point is you're trying to get over that fear, because you gotta understand, certain things create barriers. Just like your very consciousness, like our consciousness, like how we think when we're awake, our lack of or ability to focus on something, or our habit to only focus on one thing, or vice versa, or to be scatterbrained, all of that stuff is somewhat of a barrier. You know what I mean? That stuff builds a barrier between other things as far as them trying to communicate with you. So you have, like I said, you have to come from a place of calm. You can't be out here like a sissy boy, because that's what you're acting like, and a sissy girl. And it's like, I'm thinking, when did that become acceptable? Like, who said that it was okay for you to be afraid of things? Who said that? Who said it was okay for you to be a sissy? It's like, that's my way. It's like, what's going on here? Like, what? I ranted about this before, but so now I'm gonna get on this ape thing about how, like, some of the things that made me think this is not a hoax. One, these people from whatever country that they're saying that they're musicians and they do a gig and they wear these monkey costumes, and I'm sort of not trying to be mean, but the costumes looks like some Muppet Baby gym pants and BS. The costumes are crap. You need to get some dark costumes. So, they got these snow monkey looking costumes on, flutes and whatever the heck, Bulgarian flute, whatever the heck flute, or horn or whatever they're calling this thing, and you're trying to play this tune with these monkey costumes and recreate this supposed hoax that you claim was a gig of yours. and you couldn't even come close to it. Like, first off, your sound was whack. I'll say this. Now, one for one, the way that these maybe creatures, because I don't know, maybe I can't really tell because it's very choppy and blurry, like most of these videos are. But the way that these, let's just say if they were creatures and they weren't human, the way that they were playing music, that is not how humans play music. Do you understand that? That is not, and I'll explain that. The reason why that's not how humans play music is because if you have a certain level of proficiency at playing music, you are not that off-key. Unless you're just like jamming, or you're just trying to, I don't know, get like a warm-up, a practice run in, you're trying to work on some song or something. You know, you're gonna have crappy moments, or you're like straight up noobs just trying to learn. You think you're gonna have, you know, like this little jam session thing, and then, you know, eventually you're gonna get it straightened out, you're gonna get sharper, your timing's gonna get better, you're gonna be in sync more. Then yeah, it would sound crappy like that. But I'm like, if it was a gig and you guys are experienced, then why do you sound like crap? Because those tunes that those creatures were playing, it's not that the melody or the notes were like a bad choice. It's just the way they were putting them together at some points was very choppy. It was very what's the word? Out of sync. You know, which didn't sound like they were doing that on purpose. It sounded like it's not really maybe that important that it's supposed to sound super good. You know, there's probably a different significance to it. It was probably a ritual or a ceremony that they were doing. You know, the way that they were positioned too is another thing that made me think it was not a hoax, is because when you could see one of them that was resting on a rock, if you really looked at its legs, it looked like it had extra joints to its leg. Like a person does not have legs like that. Frogs have legs like that. Dogs have legs like that. Monkeys have similar legs like that. Especially a frog of all things has a leg like that. How the hell does a person in a costume, like, nah, just that's one thing I'm like, just no. I'm like, when I seen that leg, I was like, just no. Just sorry, not with that. I'm not buying it. Like, not with the leg. Maybe I'm wrong, but that didn't look normal in any way, in any capacity. It didn't look like it was a what do you call a prop, or it was a leg extension. No, that looked like a damn frog leg on a monkey-like creature that just had it part of its leg out of the water and was just resting. I'm like, are you serious? Like, am I looking at what I'm really looking at? Like, that is not. Like, and I'll also say that whole setup has cryptid written all over it. Okay, that is not a human thing. That's not a human body. That's not a human leg. None of that is normal. Okay? Another thing, the water. That's dangerous for you to be wading in water like that in a costume. Unless the water is very, very shallow and it's controlled. That is not a good idea for you. You know, something bad's gonna happen to you. You know what I mean? You can't be just doing that. So you can't even hoax that, because if you try to really recreate it, it's gonna take too much money. You're gonna have to have certain what's the word? Suits. You're gonna have to have the extensions for the joints, and you're not going to get it right, because the proportions, like I said, that whole like bull pelvis, friggin' long arms, you know, short leg, frog leg, all that shit, you know, the crazy, the no neck having, all you can't really do that with a costume. You can try, but you really can't. You know what I mean? Like, there's a real distinct difference when you look like monkeys, snow monkeys, snub-nosed monkey, whatever you want to call it. You can't just be hoaxing that so easily. So that's another thing that makes me think, like, this is probably authentic, and this is probably definitely not a hoax. And then the look on the guy's face. Now, I will say, if this was a hoax, it was a brilliant one. It was excellent. And then second off, if it was like, let's say the what do you call them? The natives of that area or whatever, or people for tourists putting on a show because it's something they do annually or whatever. They just want to. It's like a top secret thing. It's like, hey, yeah, we freak these tourists out. That's different. But I just like I said, where's your proficiency in playing those horns, man? How come that crap sounds like some ghostly, haunting, somber, stretched out notes like that? Like humans don't. Like, come on. Like, what I'm trying to say is, like, we may make creepy music purposely, but like I said, inherently, that's not even, first off, like I said, the quality. When we create music, we try to be like all pretty with it. We try to, it's got to be timed. It has to be. It don't sound like that. I should actually link. I think I'm gonna try to link the video in the description so you can really see what I'm talking about. Really analyze it. Like, we don't play notes like that, bro. Second off, we don't play notes like that, bro. I may, someone else may, a similar type of person would maybe create something that had that sound, that sound to it. Because in this, when I say this, it's gonna be really, I'm getting really deep. Some people will never understand this. You have to understand that there is a frequency with things, okay? Everything has a frequency. It's like, for instance, a cryptid, right, may have a very off-putting sound, frequency, look, smell, because it's a certain type of being, okay? It's not a person. You know what I mean? I would even dare say it's not quite an animal either, something else. So it's not going to have necessarily the same, like, vibe, sound, music even. There's a lot of things that's going to be, like, very eerie and probably off-putting those people because you're not, it's of a certain nature. It's like you have to, I almost have to say, like, you have to basically get used to something like that, okay? So, like I said, the haunting sort of sound of it all is kind of a giveaway already, because you're like, what? It sounds eerie. Of course it would sound eerie, you know what I'm saying? These are cryptids. These aren't people. This isn't like I said, this isn't you. It's the viewer. You know what I mean? This is not you. This is a cryptid. So someone will say, well, that doesn't make any sense. What are you even talking? Well, okay, if you don't understand that, then you need to, maybe someday, maybe you'll understand what I just said. Possibly. Maybe when you're dead. Literally, when you're fucking dead. I tried not to curse, but there it goes. When you're dead and you're around some of these things, then maybe you get used to it, because you're friggin' dead and departed from your physical body, and you're all around all types of things, and that's your life now. So maybe you will understand that. Maybe it'll take you a lifetime to understand what I'm really talking about. So, or for you to even come to grips with something like that. So, what I'm saying is, in reality, it's probably not a hoax, man. And then second off, I have to say shame on these people. This is what I mean about how our culture is all jacked up. Shame on the people because they didn't, like, say, oh, well, we witnessed something great today. Oh, so now what we're going to do? We're probably going to exchange contacts. We're probably going to try to go back to this spot. We're probably going to research if there's a way to communicate with these things. We're probably going to try to figure out if there's a way to gift or leave, whatever giftings to these things. We're going to try to see if there is a peaceful way that we could, like, make contact. See, that's the key. That's the thing. See, that's another one of these things about our culture as a human beings that is all messed up and out the window, is that we honestly think that there's no significance in contact, communication, and or any type of reverence to something that is, like, outside of yourself, unknown to yourself, greater than yourself, or something that is of an otherworldly nature that may have the potential or intent sometimes to communicate with human beings, but for whatever reason there's, like, a lot of static there. Because there's a lot of reasons why that may not happen, or why that can't happen. And one of the main reasons, like I said, is us ourselves, this whole this whole culture of like, oh, you know, you have to be scared. You're supposed to be scared. Oh, you're supposed to be free. Or oh, you know, or this is evil, or that's this. Or, oh, you know. So, like I said, those are huge issues. So it's kind of like you just blew it, really. You blew it. You know, you blew it already. You already blew it. You know, you didn't stop the boat. That's another thing. You know, you didn't try to like stop, turn back around, get a closer look. Someone could say, "Oh, you're gonna turn the boat around, bro." I mean, I don't know a lot. I'm putting myself out there. I'm stupid enough to not understand how canoes, kayaks, boats, and currents work. Yes, I don't know if you can turn that thing around any type of way. If there's some way to turn it around, I would assume there is. But if you should have backtracked, and not necessarily say like backtrack right where you are, where they were, stand there and interrupt because obviously they're doing something. See, you have to think with your logical brain. Like obviously they're doing something that's probably of significance. So, you know, you probably don't want to sit right there where they're doing it, but you probably want to backtrack, go past them a little bit, and then watch. And then you want to really hone in with your eyes, like, okay, start analyzing these things. Like, is this a person in a suit, or is this, you know, like, what is this? You know, you got to really look. You got to listen to the music too. You have to listen to it. That's what I mean. You're not even listening to it. You're just thinking, oh, what is that? Are you listening to it? It's something that's playing. Like, okay, think of it this way. Do you know how insane it is if you see a creature that's non-human playing an instrument? Like, your mind should be blown. You should be like, what? Like, how? Like, how is it? They can play music? Like, what? What's going on? You know what I mean? Like, what is this? See, that's what I mean. You don't understand. That's my point. It may take you a lifetime to really get it. You know what I'm saying? You don't understand. You're just lost. So, this is what I'm trying to tell you something. This is a problem. This is a severe problem. This is a cultural problem. This is a spiritual problem. This is a big ass problem. So, on this channel, we try to correct it. Like, we try to correct it is what we're trying to do. We're just trying to correct it because we know it can't ever be truly corrected, but we're trying to help it is what we're trying to do. We're kind of trying to nurse this thing, and we're trying to heal it to a standard, really, to a standard to where, you know, you can understand something, and then you can take, you know, steps further after. You know, so I'm gonna cut this video off here. I hope this helped someone. I hope this gave someone a different perspective on this whole thing, because I'm telling you, half of you guys' perspective, and I don't like this, like, get on a high horse, but I am having to get on a high horse because I'm not like, excuse my French, but I already cursed. Fuck. I'm not like you motherfuckers. I'm not on the shit that you're on. I don't wake up in the morning and think some stupid shit that some people be thinking about, like, oh, you know, I want to. No, I'm not thinking about that bullshit. I'm thinking about other things. So, I'm just explaining the problem and why it's a problem, how it's a problem, and then for you really stupid, retarded motherfuckers out there, I'm explaining to you who don't believe, who you're like, oh, this is all bullshit. There's no, motherfucker, you're all bullshit. That's the kicker. That's the hilarious thing. You're weak, first off. You're weak-minded. You're weak. You have a weak body, a weak mind. You're a coward. You're fucking soft. And you're full of bullshit, bitch. And you probably ain't got off that stank-ass, stank-booty Ryan, sweaty-ass chair spot that you've been in all fucking day and ain't did shit, bitch. And you look like potted meat with your shirt off, motherfucker. And you're fucking gay, you bisexual motherfucker. So, see, it's hard. The gloves are off. I try not to curse, and I wanted it to be kid-friendly, but it turned into an adult rant just right then and there. So I figured I'd throw some, you know, insults in, you know, at this whole modern-day sissy boy, sissy girl culture. So I figured I wasn't really even attacking a person personally. I'm attacking a culture is what I'm doing. Because in this channel, I'm creating a new culture. It's not really a new culture, but what I'm saying is I'm basically on the channel itself, I guess you could call it a culture. I'm cultivating the culture of myself on this channel. And I'm trying to draw others like myself unto myself and draw energies and even beings themselves unto myself. Because it needs to be done. That's why. Because I want to be successful on YouTube also, but I'm going to say some real shit in the same instance. I'm not just going to, like, talk about stupid shit. So, like I said, let that sit with you, bitch. You want to say, oh, this is bullshit. Alright, maybe it is, right? But you're also bullshit, bitch. Do something about it. And also, change something. You're like, oh, well, that hurt. Okay, motherfucker, change it. You punk-ass motherfucker. Why don't you get up off your ass? Why don't you go to the gym, bitch? You hear what I'm saying? Why don't you do that? Why don't you wash your fucking, your stink chair cushion or whatever the fuck? Wash your clothes, bitch. You already didn't wash your clothes in fucking months or something. You know? Get off your ass. You go in a looks max, bitch. You go find you a real girl that you actually had to work for to get. Instead of fucking every damn thing that looks your way or whatever. And you probably do it with men too, because like I said, your ass is probably bisexual, and you probably fuck anything with a damn hole that even pays you a damn attention. Why don't you get up off your ass, look smacks, go to the gym, improve your fucking self, take a fucking shower, right? Get things into your personality that people actually would admire. You know, do things that you actually like or try to, and try to bring yourself into the company of people and find a bitch that you actually want instead of just whatever jumps on your stank cock and wants to fuck with your stank ass booty hole. You half a faggot motherfucker. Now I'm probably gonna get kicked off for hate speech because I use that F word, but fuck it, it just had to go with what I was saying. The sentence wouldn't have been complete enough without that in there, because that's the way it had to be just said. Okay? So, someone's like, well, how did you just went from really, you were just talking and then you went to dark. Why are you being aggressive? You just got all aggressive. Well, I got all aggressive because I snapped. That's why. Because I fucking snapped. It happens all the time, because I always get angry and just snap. Because I can't take it anymore. I can't sweet talk you motherfuckers. I can't. I can't do it. I have to be real. I can't do it. So, like I said, for those of you that have ears to hear, and I'm not talking about motherfuckers on some Christian shit. I'm talking about people who want to know what's the real deal is, okay? For those of you that are listening and that appreciate what I'm saying, in that you already know what I'm saying. You already know what I'm talking about. It's just you're just hearing it from someone else in a different way. You know, I thank you for that. And like I said, this is Steve's Art and Fun. This rant was been accompanied by some Mugen footage and bigger things to come in the future of this channel. But I'd appreciate it if you like, comment, and sub. And also, don't come in my channel with bullshit comments either. Don't fucking come up in here with motherfucking bullshit comments, bro. Do not do it. Save yourself. Save your fucking self. Don't come in my comments with that bullshit either. I don't want to see it. I just don't want to I don't want to see no bullshit in my comments. Don't be talking no. And don't you ever come on my channel and try to shut my channel down because I said some shit you didn't like. You little pussy. If you don't like something that I said, get this, right? Go out into the world and find someone that you don't like and take it out on them. And see how that fares you. See if you won't get sent back to your room in tears, all lumped up and all that shit. Because that's all you can do is talk. And all you can do is get on my channel and probably say some dumb shit in my comments. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, some people don't agree with what I'm saying, just like I don't agree with a lot of things, but doesn't mean I have to say some stupid shit like, you know, nah, bro. Don't even send me a stupid emoji with some stupid shit on it. Don't send me no gay ass shit like that. Like some emoji like as if you're displeased with what I said on this shit. If you don't like it, then unsub, bitch. This is my fucking channel. This is Steve's Art and Fun channel, and have a nice day.